Hello and welcome to Describe Pipelines and Concurrency. I'm Andrew Conniff, a Microsoft technical trainer specializing in data and AI. And in this session, we're going to explore Azure Pipelines and concurrency concepts. So let's get started. Parallel jobs in Azure Pipelines allow multiple build and release processes to run at the same time, making our development workflow much more efficient. Imagine you have several tasks like building different features or deploying updates that need to happen simultaneously. With parallel jobs, we don't have to wait for one task to finish before starting another. Instead, Azure Pipelines can handle several jobs at once, reducing bottlenecks and speeding up delivery. If all of our parallel job slots are in use, any additional jobs are simply queued and will start automatically as soon as a slot becomes available. This approach is especially useful for teams working on complex projects or managing multiple releases. For example, when one job is building in your application, another can be running tests or deploying to a staging environment. Parallel jobs help ensure that our teams aren't held back by slow sequential processes. By using available resources, we can deliver updates faster, respond to issues more quickly, and keep our development pipeline running smoothly. Estimating parallel jobs in Azure Pipelines is all about understanding how many tasks our organization can run at the same time. So we think of our parallel jobs as the number of lanes on a highway. More lanes means more cars or jobs can move forward simultaneously. This reduces traffic jams and speeds up our delivery. Azure Pipelines lets us determine how many parallel jobs we need, whether it's making a simple estimate for a small team or a detailed calculation for a large organization. We can easily view all of our builds and releases to see how our resources are being used, which helps us plan and optimize our pipeline capacity. Azure Pipelines offer powerful support for open source projects, making it easy for teams to automate builds and deployments without worrying about user limits or extra costs. If our project is public and builds a public repository, we are automatically qualified for the free tier, which means we can run pipelines at no charge. There's no cap on the number of users. Anyone with basic or stakeholder access can create and manage pipelines. And this flexibility is especially valuable for open source communities where contributors often come from all over the world and need a reliable, scalable system to keep their projects moving forward. Resource limits and throttles are mechanisms to manage pipeline concurrency effectively. Azure DevOps provides options to restrict the number of parallel jobs, ensuring fair usage and preventing resource exhaustion. These settings can be adjusted based on the organizational policies and subscription levels. By controlling concurrency limits, teams can balance speed with costs and efficiency. It avoids overwhelming infrastructure while maintaining optimal performance, and this is particularly useful for enterprises managing multiple projects and needing to allocate resources strategically. Another great benefit is that Azure Pipelines doesn't limit the number of build or release pipelines you can create. You can register as many self-hosted agents as you need for free. For those with Visual Studio Enterprise subscriptions, there's an added perk. You get an extra self-hosted parallel job in each organization. Azure Pipelines offers two main ways to configure our build and release processes, and one of the most approachable is the Visual Designer. With the Visual Designer, you can set up your pipelines using a graphical interface. There's no need to write any code for that from scratch, and you simply push your code to the version control repository and then use the designer to define the steps for building, testing, and deploying our application. This visual approach makes it easy to see the flow of our pipeline, and from editing the code and running the build tasks to creating artifacts and deploying to our target environment. But it's now referred to as classic pipelines because the industry is moving towards YAML pipelines. Azure Pipelines using YAML files is a modern code-centric approach to defining our build and deployment processes. With YAML, our pipeline configuration lives right alongside our application code in the same repository. So this means we edit our YAML file, push it to a code repo with a code review, and Azure Pipelines takes care of the rest, building and testing and deploying our application automatically. This approach is especially powerful because it keeps our pipeline versioned with our code. So this makes it easier to track the changes, collaborate with others, and roll back if needed. Defining pipelines in YAML is preferred due to its transparency and repeatability in DevOps workflows. So YAML pipelines are portable and can be reused across projects and are great for organizations managing multiple applications or environments. While it may seem more technical at first, using YAML unlocks advanced features and automation, helping teams deliver software faster and with fewer errors. In short, YAML pipelines empower teams to streamline their CI/CD processes, making software delivery more reliable and efficient. This concludes our session. There are many ways to continue your learning journey. We encourage you to watch the other videos in this course or search out your next favorite topic on Microsoft Learn at aka.ms/learn.